All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Simonds Metabolics and Weight Loss Ask Me Anything Facebook event for Monday, July 24th, 2023. I am Dr. Simonds, and this is nurse practitioner Michelle Kennedy. For those of you who do not know us, we're going to be answering your questions about weight loss today.
Yes.
And we're going to be giving away, as we do every week, a Target $25 Target gift card.
Yes, and in order to be eligible to win, if you're watching this live, we need you to do two things for us. We need you to comment #SimonsANA and also like this video. So if you're watching live, make sure you do those two things. Most people watch our shows recorded because 10 a.m. on a Monday can be hard to be there live. So if you're here, you have a very high chance of winning that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And we thank all of you who will watch this after the fact.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, we always appreciate. We get such great questions. That's always what we're looking at in our lap is our list of questions, and we love to answer your live questions or just hear comments that you have to share with us. So if you're out there, comment #SimonsANA and let us know how you're doing and if you have any questions for us. But without further ado, might as well jump into the questions. Yeah.
Okay. We got Gregory first, right?
Yeah. So Gregory's asking, when exercising, is there a healthy balance with cardio and strength training? What are your recommendations? Really great question. So we do deal a lot in our practice with nutrition piece, with behavioral modification, and with pharmaceutical, right, medication, because those are all really important pillars. But physical activity is also a very, very important pillar.
Yes.
So Gregory is trying to figure out, all right, we got the cardio, we got the strength training, how do I balance it out? And the way we answer that is really going to vary based on where you are in your journey, right?
That's right.
Because we've talked before about how low to moderate intensity cardio, things like walking, things like swimming, things like biking, those are actually going to have probably a greater impact on overall weight loss and fat loss, whereas strength training is going to be a really important piece when you're trying to build or retain muscle.
Yes. Yeah. I think, Michelle's right. You think about it in terms of weight loss. What's going to work for me for weight loss?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's going to work for me for weight maintenance?
Right.
And then, what's going to be the best thing for me from a health standpoint and functional point down the road, right? And so I think for the weight loss piece, we're in agreement that really high intensity exercise while you're trying to lose weight may be counterproductive.
Okay.
Yes. So we tell patients all the time they've registered for, I don't want to say brand name stuff because then people will maybe get the wrong idea that I'm picking on a brand, and I'm not. But just, let's just generally say, let's say you register for a boot camp class.
Right.
Right. That may be not actually help you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You could spend the same amount of time with a low to moderate intensity walk and actually lose more weight that way. That's the message. Now, once you've lost weight, what I think has become clear at that point is that exercise helps prevent weight regain. And in particular, resistance training is very effective at that. Mm-hmm. And so think about it in terms, you've heard people say, well, I want to lose some weight and then I want to start toning up. Well, there's something to that.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So use the low to moderate intensity cardio to lose weight, use the resistance training as part of your plan to maintain your weight. And, the government has those recommendations on the balance of, I think it's 60-40 cardio to, resistance training. It's just a ballpark figure. I think the idea is you want to add it in at some point once you've lost weight. And as you age, I think particularly, I say this to females because they're not, guys are kind of wired where they've maybe done some weightlifting, so they're open to the idea as they're aging, but women generally are not. And I want to try to break that mold for them. You don't have to be the dude at the gym who's trying to get all beefed up. That's not what we're talking about. Resistance training really does help prevent things like osteoporosis and really makes you more agile, mobile, and your balance is better, your strength is better. It's a lot of benefits in this area. And so really ought to be something that you consider.
I completely agree. Thank you, Paula and Charlie. So good to have you guys on. If you have not yet done your comment on hashtag Simonds AMA and like this video, that's how you're going to be eligible to win our $25 gift card. So if you're here, follow Paula and Charlie's lead there.
That's right.
And I'll add to, when it comes to the physical activity piece, some of our patients right out of the gate, or even for the first several months, aren't going to be doing any physical activity, and that is okay.
That's
I think
right.
a lot of patients are worried when they
Yeah.
come to us for the first time that we're going to write them like an exercise prescription and make them join a gym and make them do things that hurt their knees or hurt their back. And we do not
Right.
do that. We are going to meet you where you are. And honestly, getting some weight off initially is going to help tremendously with your desire to be physically active, your ability, right? Your stamina, the way your knees and your hips and your back feels. So it is something that we will work with you directly to work into your plan as you're losing. And then very important for weight maintenance. I want to reiterate that. It is very clear that while many people may not need any physical activity to lose their weight, although still a lot of very good reasons to be physically active, it may not be the main component to help you lose it. It is going to be a component to help you not regain it.
That's correct.
It must be.
Yeah, and the other thing to say there, it's not really, well, it's just kind of something that we sometimes bring up is that exercise has health benefits separate from the weight loss. We look at it through a weight loss lens.
Right.
But I mean, even in people who aren't trying to lose weight, it helps control their blood sugar and their blood pressure.
Absolutely.
And keeps
Their
them from
mood, their
getting
sleep.
depressed, right?
Yeah.
And it helps them sleep better. A lot of things, right?
Mhm.
So it's definitely it's a natural form of effective medication.
Yeah. And as far as recommendations, not just for, the balance, but walking. Walking is almost always, if it's what should I do, it's walk.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
literally built to walk.
That's the human experience. You never found our ancestors joining gyms and things like this.
Yeah.
This was not what they did.
Yeah.
So historical figures, Abraham Lincoln didn't join the YMCA, I always say. That's not how they
He
stayed
walked a
then.
lot. He had
That's
really
right,
long
yeah.
legs. He was lucky
That's right.
if he could
Yeah,
get
that's right.
places really quickly. But if the weather is, a factor that is difficult, they do have affordable indoor options. You could go to a mall for free and walk around, or you could purchase a treadmill. You could buy it used. They even have those little walking pads, I think they call them, where you can. It's meant to be at a desk, right? So it's much more compact. So I think there really is an option for everyone. It's just about what you are ready for and willing to do. But the walking is definitely where it's at. What do you do for exercise these days besides your golfing?
It's funny. I like weightlifting as much as I like anything. And I got away from running and did walking with that. And so I recently wanted to lose some weight. This is actually a really good question for me. When I weightlift, I can't lose weight.
Is it because you're hungrier, or just because your body responds?
It's just the way my body responds. So I had to, I've taken an 8-week holiday from weightlifting, and I've lost 20 pounds.
Congratulations.
You see, and so that's how this is a really good point about what Michelle says. You can't do this, the weightlifting I like doing that makes me feel so good is more intense, but it provokes a response in my body that sends a signal that says, hey man, no weight loss.
And that's normal.
Right?
It's a stress
Yeah.
response, right? That's what exercise should do. It's just in this case, it's counterproductive.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to lose about 15 more, and I'm going to resume that weightlifting then. So really in the fall, I think I'll start doing it again, and I will have taken a few months break. And sometimes you have to do that stuff, right? And that's just the way it is. And so I think I would think about it in terms of weight loss and then weight maintenance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a great idea. And welcome, Candace. Thank you for watching. We're answering your weight loss questions this morning. We have many that are sent in, but if you're watching live and you want to ask us anything or share anything, please do. Candace and Charlie and Paula have all entered for our gift card by commenting hashtag Simonds AMA and liking the video. Keep up the good work, guys. Now a 33.33% chance for all of you.
Yeah, that's right. The odds are pretty good.
Yeah.
I wish it was that good to win that Powerball ticket the other night. That was over $1 billion.
I walked and I got a ticket. I didn't win.
Yeah, darn.
I
Darn for you, but good for me,
because
because you wouldn't have been at work this morning.
I don't know. I still might have. I was talking about that. I don't know. I feel like as nice as it would be not to work, I don't like flounder.
Yeah, right.
I like having something to do when I get up in the morning, right? I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, you make a very good point.
All right, moving on to Miss Sharon.
Okay, Sharon says, is it safe to use your weight loss medicine with high blood pressure and high cholesterol? I know losing weight helps these conditions.
That it does. So Sharon, another very good question. We do get this question a lot. What would prevent me from being able to come to your practice and get help? And we say almost nothing would prevent you, because most people who struggle with weight also have what we call these comorbid health conditions, such as blood pressure or sugar or cholesterol issues. So we are very equipped and comfortable with assisting people who have these other health conditions along with their weight. When it comes to the blood pressure, we're just going to make sure that that is well controlled, right? Are you on a medication? Do you need to be on a medication? Maybe just for the time being, because we take people off blood pressure medicines a lot.
Yeah, we do.
They lose weight, they eat healthy, their inflammation goes down, they're more physically active, and their blood pressure medicine becomes too much for them, too strong, and then we take it off. So no, it does not prevent you. We're just going to make sure that your blood pressure is well controlled, whether it's with or without medication, depending on what medicines we're using, such as phentermine, right? Stimulant medications. We're just going to be really cautious that your blood pressure is not too high to add something like that. Just like we would make the recommendation if your blood pressure is really high, not to drink caffeine, right? It's the same thing. It's just something that we do cautiously. But there would be no reason at all having high blood pressure and cholesterol that are controlled that we couldn't start medication such as phentermine or such as the newer injectables or topiramate or metformin. There are many that we use, and we even have a pharmacy right here in our practice that we prescribe out of. And this is what helps when you work directly with a healthcare provider at a medical practice like ours, is we help you navigate that, because people have so many questions. Can I do this? What are the risks?
Well, I'd say at a practice like ours where people know what the heck they're doing. Because I find a lot of healthcare providers tell people they can't take, that it creates this notion. Okay, be perpetually obese. See how that works out for you, right? So Michelle and I prescribe medication to people, like she said. We can, in most cases, get you off that other medicine you're on, right? And so like in the blood pressure, the only issue is that of being, when we use a medication like phentermine, is the blood pressure controlled? In almost all cases it is. And people almost uniformly drop their blood pressure by losing weight, and then you can take them off their blood pressure medicine even while they're on the phentermine. So, I think that, the kind of information that's in the medical literature about this, there's this common notion that these stimulant medications are going to raise your blood pressure, and therefore when you need to lose weight, you should not take them. But there's really not a whole lot of evidence in the medical literature to back that up. There's not a whole lot of evidence in the first place, but the evidence that is there really doesn't support that notion, in my opinion. So, and there's things that we use that aren't stimulant medications. So we use newer medications like, Wegovy and Ozempic and Mounjaro and these sorts of things. And these things work. And I always say they really work well when you put them in combination. And we generally don't deal with complications like high blood pressure from using these medications. It's exactly the opposite. The blood pressure gets lower because you're losing weight. You come off your blood pressure medicine, you come off your diabetes medicine because the blood sugar corrects itself. These lipid problems you're talking about will get better just on diet alone. The medicines will help you be a lot more adherent to the correct kind of diet, and those things will get better. You can come off of those statins and things like that.
And even these newer injectables that we're talking about, they are going to get an indication from the FDA at some point for cardiac
Yes.
health, right? For
right.
heart health.
Yeah,
So
they have more than just the weight loss.
yeah,
benefits.
there's a lot of other health benefits, and I believe there are of the older medications that we use for weight. It's just no one's going to pay to put those through a clinical trial.
That's correct.
So we just go off of our clinical experience,
right,
which is everything gets better.
That's
and unfortunately, there is, as Dr. Simon said, a lot of perpetuating falsities out there of well, you can't take it for this length of time, and it could make your blood pressure go up, or it's going to hurt this, or it's going to do that. The evidence just isn't there. That's just dogmatic stuff getting repeated.
And you'll find that the people who say those things don't ever treat patients for their weight.
Right.
They've never prescribed these medications. They don't have patients that are taking them. So they really don't have any firsthand experience with them.
Yeah.
When you get Michelle and I, we treat thousands of patients with these medications. You're not going to find any other practitioners. I'll just say it. I don't mind that. I'm not being arrogant when I say that. You're not going to find other practitioners in the country who see more than we see. And I said in the country, we see more. Okay. We're really experienced at this. And I think, you should know that when you come see us. So when people question whether they're lay people or medical people, I challenge them like, where'd you get your experience from? Right.
Or where in the literature does it actually say that? I mean, there's not even research evidence for these things.
And what exactly have you done to help your patients lose weight? Why don't you tell us? Because it almost is always the same answer. Nothing.
That's what we do. So give us a call.
Yeah. Or they actually, their biggest move is, well, I told them to diet and exercise. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. That sounds like it. Very complex.
Yeah. That's like telling someone you just need to sleep more. Someone that's suffering from depression, you just need to be happy. Right? We don't do that because it's inappropriate and it's not fair, and it puts the blame game on the person suffering. That's not how it works. Yeah. That's not how it works at all.
That's exactly right.
So thank you for that question.
Great analogy.
Yeah.
Oh,
we just had a little.
Whoa.
Oh.
Lightning strike, brown out. Something happened there.
Hopefully everything's still good and we're smooth. So Debbie, what is the best thing to eat after working out? Is it carbs, protein, or fat?
I think that depends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Depends on if you're purposely doing a carbohydrate restricted diet with the intent of being in ketosis, what we call a ketogenic diet, whatever form that looks like, whether you call it keto or Atkins or whatever you want to call it. Okay, if that's what you're doing, right after you've exercised, your body is torching your fat stores. And so you should completely avoid any carbs right after. Let your body do it, right? Okay. And so, because the moment you eat the carbs, your insulin level will have to go up to control your blood sugar. And that's going to stop that fat burning right there. Okay. So keto adapted people, as we say, people who've been on a ketogenic diet, when they exercise, you are smoking that fat. Okay. And don't mess with it. All right. If you want something after you exercise, eat something high in fat. Now, for people who aren't on a ketogenic diet, okay, right after you exercise, you should probably eat a combination of protein and carbs. Okay, because what you're relying on glucose to power your system. And it's stored in tanks, if you will, in your liver and muscles, and you just exhaust it and use all of it. You've got to put more back in. And that's the whole point of taking the glucose right after, right? So whatever the form is, whether it's fruit or,
Yeah, I like the idea of like a half a banana if you're doing a protein shake, putting that in there, putting having some yogurt and putting some fruit in that, like berries or some pineapple or something. So I think I agree. I think that's a great answer. I will say a lot of my patients know when they ask me about like carbs and exercise, I like to tell them that if you are wanting to incorporate something that's more of a treat or something that is more higher carbohydrate, earning it through exercise and then consuming it post-exercise is a great way to approach it.
Yes.
Because it's like you're earning those additional like higher sugar or higher starch carbohydrates that way. So, you do your exercise and then after you get to have some kind of treat, whether it is more fruit or, a meal that has like some sweet potato in it or something like that. So if you're trying to limit it, but you want to have some after exercise.
Yeah. Immediately after.
Yes. Exactly.
Immediately after. Okay, Debbie says, what is the best thing, that was,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
we
one we
got
just
Debbie.
answered, yeah, so Reese.
Mm-hmm.
Reese says, how do I stop snacking and and binging? Says, how do I stop snacking and binging and actually cook after a long day of work? There's some additional comments. Reese says, I have energy level problems from mental health issues, fibromyalgia, and anemia. All I want to do is sit down and not move.
This is not uncommon, Reese. You're not alone. We get questions like this all the time from people who say, I'm exhausted. Like the last thing I want to do when I get home after work is cook or even think about having to prepare food. So Reese, we have talked, I think, on this show before, and we have some blogs even on our website about meal prepping or even ordering meals through delivery companies, either locally or nationally. It's okay to use shortcuts in this case, because if you just try to hold yourself to the standard of, well, I should be able to get home and whip up this wonderful healthy meal, that's not fair because you know you don't have the energy. So we really have to put something in place so that it's already done. Either you have done it when you do have energy, maybe on the weekend, and you've frozen it and thawed it out, or someone else is doing it for you, but they're doing it in a way that you have already decided it's going to be a healthy, prepared meal.
Yes. Reese, if you don't have a partner who likes to cook, maybe you can find. There's an idea, right? If you don't like doing the cooking, pair with somebody who does. That's the Dr. Simonds lazy way to do it, right? Okay, that's how I do it. Honey, you want to do the cooking tonight? Okay, so if you don't have that scenario, you got to do what Michelle says, okay? And this is actually the way my wife and I do it because we both don't want to cook when we come home to eat. We don't want to cook something complex.
Yeah,
we want it to be kind of easy.
All prep ahead
of
time.
And so you got to prep ahead of time.
Yep.
You got to prep ahead of time, so that means having stuff in the refrigerator in containers where you can whip it out and get it in the pan pretty easy. You're just heating it up type scenario.
Yep.
It's very common. Or if you're having a salad or something, the salad's pre-made in a Tupperware.
Yeah.
You just break it out, set the dressing out, maybe a few toppings in Tupperwares. You set them out, and you just make your little salad and you eat, right? So, because otherwise you end up in this scenario where you're hungry, but you don't want to do that work.
Yeah.
So you end up binging on stuff that's not good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Planning and preparation is key.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say, planning is key. Absolutely, Reese. So I think part of it too is make sure not to have those trigger foods around, Reese. So when you know you're feeling really washed out and tired and you're going to reach for X, Y, or Z, which you know is not going to serve you well, don't have it in the house. Don't have it in the house, because a lot of times people will say, well, I really wanted the bag of chips, but I had already made this chicken and vegetables in the fridge, so I felt obligated to eat it. And then after I ate it, I was really happy I did. I was so happy I didn't have the tortilla chips in there.
Right. That's right. I actually went to the grocery store, bought it, made it, and prepared it. So you got energy and money on the line. It's invested in that. You may want those tortilla chips, but once you spent the money and time getting that stuff ready, that's what you eat.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's almost always what you'll do.
And I'll say too, Reese, it is likely that a healthy, nutritious eating plan could help some with the inflammation and the pain that you're experiencing and the exhaustion that you're experiencing. We have a lot of patients who have things like fibromyalgia and like fatigue issues, and it's really a perpetual cycle of these junky, convenient foods that are leaving them in this constant state of just
inflamed, painful state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good state.
So we kind of want to do that. We want to go over any medications that you're on just to make sure the medications aren't making you feel like that, making you gain weight.
That's
right?
a great point.
Yeah.
All right. So Connor, how do you constantly eat healthy food? Because I can't eat healthy more than 3 days. After that, I start to binge eat and I start eating healthy for 3 days again and then binge eat. So this sounds like a cycle that many people experience.
Why do you think we use medication here, Connor? Okay, this is one classic reason, because we try to get people to be adherent to stuff. And if your desires, your biological desires are for these bad things, so you're using just willpower by itself to try to overcome some of this. And that's always, in many cases, that's not a great strategy. Okay, Michelle and I can prescribe medication to you, which will take those desires away and make them a lot more controllable.
Yeah, it's like turning down the volume on those like invasive food thoughts where it's like, I need it, I want it, I taste it. The medication really can be a remarkable tool to help you do, Connor, exactly what you want to do, but after 3 days you struggle to continue.
Yes, that's correct. And and I mean, it's for people who hadn't done it, it's a real game changer. They always come back and say the same thing. Wow. I can't believe I tried to diet without this stuff.
Right.
Right.
Or they say things like, is this the way like normal people feel?
Right.
Right? Is this the way my friends feel when I see them eat a bite of something and then push it away and like get distracted doing something else? And it really is powerful to have someone say like, I think I feel what I'm supposed to feel about food thanks to the medication.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're kind of in that. It's like I think it's a Tim McGraw song. He was a popular singer. He didn't put out as many songs as he used to, but real hot there for a while. Now it's more hot on 1883, I think, which is the prequel to Yellowstone. It's on Paramount, and my wife watches all the time, so I've had a chance to see him on there. But but he sang this song. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I try so hard. I can't rise above it, And this is kind of how your body works when you get addicted to these junk foods, right? Yeah, it's a perfect way to describe it.
Absolutely.
Until you take some medicine, right?
Absolutely. We have a question from Candace. Is there ever a time to take a break from medication? I wonder if at some point you feel you have trained yourself with the assistance of medication.
Well, Candace, I think it's different with different people, but for a lot of people, they try the break and then they really get a good picture of what the medicine's really doing for them.
I agree.
Yeah, and if you come off the medicine for a break and you're totally out of control, that means you need to be on medicine.
Right.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean you're weak, and it's not like you should be able to do this by yourself. The medication is a very, very important tool. For a lot of people to treat this chronic struggle with weight. It doesn't go away. We just learn to manage it. And oftentimes medication is part of that management strategy.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's all. But that's a really good question, Candace.
Okay, so Nina's the final person. She's got a question. What are the biggest mistakes people make when they start a weight loss plan? The biggest mistake they make is that they don't have a plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they just say, well, I want to lose some weight. Hook me up, WICKHAM, with some pills and shots and stuff, but they have no sort of idea in their mind. Hey, what am I going to buy from the grocery store? What's this going to look like? What am I going to hold myself accountable to? So you got to make a plan. I mean, if you have a plan and we give you some medicine, it's going to work. Okay. And if you listen to our stuff, how we teach you about carbohydrates and stuff, you're probably going to find it works even better. The other thing is the other thing I see is people think they can do it without medicine or just a minimal amount of medicine. Listen to what the advice we give you. It'll help you. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
It really will.
Yeah. And I would say one more is reasonable expectations. And that's also what we are here to help you do, because if you're going off of infomercials and posts on social media, that's not reality. So we're going to help you figure out what is real when it comes to what should I be losing? How quick should I be losing it? What is it going to feel like in maintenance? What if I start the medicine? What if I stop the medicine? We're going to help you figure that out so that you have an idea of what to expect. That is being reasonable. We have a winner of our gift card. It is Paula. Yay! Thank you everyone who attended live and who entered to win the gift card. Paula, we will be in touch with you via email in order to get that gift card to you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this recorded and sharing it with your friends.
There you go. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. We'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.